I grew up in New Rochelle, New York, which is a suburb of New York City. And I went to a Catholic grammar school. And surprisingly enough, I have a very early memory from maybe second or third grade of art classes where we had little books where they gave us pictures, postcards from like the Metropolitan Museum or some museum. And I remember Starry, Starry Night by Van Gogh and pasting that in my book. And that image has stayed with me. And I don't really know what the lessons were about or anything, but I do remember that image from being very young. My mother had a print on canvas of I think it was like, it was called The Oyster Gatherers of Calais. And it was this big print, and I remember how much she loved it and the idea of oyster gatherers. And my grandmother hated it. She'd say, "Why do you want those dirty old ladies on the wall?" And I was going through the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston decades later, and I came across the painting and didn't realize it was this big. The church I went to was not that gilded in gold, although my grandparents, I have a dim memory of my grandparents in Connecticut's church being like that, everything gilded in gold. I didn't necessarily think of it as art at the time, but I think, and I would have discussions in grad school with some of my other Catholic or ex-Catholic friends about the impact of that kind of upbringing. And I think the ritual and there's a kind of majesty or ritual or ceremonial thing does have an impact on sometimes the way you're thinking about the world. And so it's in there somewhere.